So Stranger and Stranger, we are 30 years young in this industry, with 3 studios, London, New York, San Francisco, roughly 36 of us. And over those 30 years, we've had the great privilege of doing 7,000 projects with one goal in mind, and that's that we make brands that sell themselves. We make brands that get talked about. We make brands that start cults. And hopefully, if we do our job right, win lots of awards. And occasionally, brands that get tattooed. That's a sticky brand right there. That's like for life. But as far as what we do, we work across every type of spirit. And for us, no 2 projects look alike. There's always a different problem. There's a different opportunity. There's a new liquid. There's a new founder story. You know, we design brands backed by celebrities and conglomerates. You know, we design brands that come with us like with books of information. And then we have brands that come to us with maybe one little scribble on the back of a napkin. You know, we build brands from scratch like Laferte, or brands like with centuries of history. But for us, drinks are the job, not the add-on. And I think what's beautiful about that, when you study all the trends and you look at the micro and the macro that's going on in the world, let's just say in gin, you know, what's going on in London versus Madrid versus New York are very, very different. And I think it's really, really important, if you're going to engage with an agency, that they know the category. And we've had the great privilege of practicing 7,000 times. And it's important because if you're trying to create something new, if you're trying to buck against a trend, if you're trying to engage a new consumer, it's important to understand the category and when to break it, when to bend it, when just to poke and prod at it. And for us, we have this really one shared obsession, and that is how your brand shows up in the real world. Not in a slide, not in a mood board, not in someone's inbox marked final V9. I don't know if y'all have ever received that before, but truly in the culture and the hands and the minds of consumers, because people do not buy decks, they buy brands. They want to buy whatever makes them stop and stare and say, that one. For us, that's the moment, that's the measure, and that's where we win. And so what I want to talk about is how we get to that point of how do we make a consumer stop and say, I'm going to take that, I'm going to put that in my trolley. You know, at the end of the day, we're selling ethanol and water in a pretty package at 50 quid, right? So what's the moment that's going to make them take that home? So the high level of how we get about that is that for us, it's insight, instinct, and experience. You can have all the insights in the world. You can research your brand to death, but I'm going to wager if you don't have any instinct or some experience guiding you or along the way, it still won't be compelling and it won't necessarily make some momentum in the market. And so for us, insight's the one that keeps us sharp. Instinct is the one that keeps us strange. And the other is when to trust the other. Secondly, strategy, design, and production need to be one line of thought because, you know, brands don't come together in tidy little phrases. They come together all at once or not at all. For us, verbal needs to meet visual, copy needs to meet contour, form needs to meet feeling. Everything is considered. You know, it's the type of where strategy just doesn't live in the deck, it lives in the work. The brand is in motion, right? And hopefully, if you do it right, that's the kind that makes decisions easier, names sharper, and ideas harder to ignore. Secondly, distinctiveness over differentiation. Again, if you lead just on insights, you might be saying, oh, I'm going to put a different brand in the market, like something is just going to look different. But if it's not distinct on its own, if it doesn't have something that stands on, it's not going to have pace. It might not be something that stays in the market. And so for us, we just don't chase different, and we don't want to chase any trends. We want to build what sticks in memory and ritual and reach. And something that Emma was saying is it's that emotion, you know, it's that idea that it lands in your gut before it's in the cart, you know, and it hopefully is so impactful that it's made to move on shelf, on feed, and in someone's head. What I'll say with all the work that we do, what unites it is that we always look for, and sometimes we help create it, is a really strong foundation. And this can be of the smallest of details. We call it a kernel of truth. You can start with liquid, or an idea, or a scribble on the back of a napkin. But we think to get to the guts of the story, the ambition, the tension, the space you want to own. And I think it's really, really important. It's not just the white space, it's the edge within that white space that you're going after. For us at Stranger, every brand needs to be rooted in truth. Even a new-to-world brand with source liquid, with zero backstory, can be rooted in truth. We just need to find it. A truth can be a unique origin, like the jungles of the Philippines for Don Papa. Or it can be the outer Hebrides for the brand of the Isle of Harris. Or it could be true American First West, which isn't California, it's actually Kentucky. Or it can be in a single ingredient, like peat, which the folks at LAG are obsessive, meticulous, and passionate about. Or it can even be an island. We worked with LVMH to develop a Cuban rum, in the style of a 19th century. And when we did our research, we always talked to folks, dig deep. But it kept being referred to as the Isla de Crocodilo, the island of crocodiles. And as you can see there, the distinct shape, it mirrors this beautiful crocodile. And so we wanted to valorize the rum's origin, but also connect it in a tactile and tangible way. What better way to do that than a custom glass mold that echoes that shape? And see, for us, all these details are not just polish, it's the point. We want consumers to pick up the bottle, to touch it, to constantly be engaging with it. We're trying to create moments of story, of tension. No brand should just be one note. It should be continuous. If it's on your bar, it's going to live there probably, a year, depending on the whiskey. So let it keep saying your story, what your brand's all about, what you're promising, all that emotion. You can see how that then activates. At Stranger, we're not precious. We take brands in all shapes and sizes. I just joke when I talk to people, we just want to work with good people, with good products, and good briefs. And we get briefs in all shapes and sizes. Some that are the size of phone books, and some that are literally just a one-liner. And this gentleman named Giuseppe walked into our studio one day with a piece of fruit. And it was a bergamot, to be exact. And this is a good example that if you were to research the bergamot, does the modern consumer really know what a bergamot is? You did a research of all of Europe and all of the Americas. That research would probably say, please do not start this brand. But Giuseppe had a crazy dream. He had passion for this liquid, which the recipe dated for over 100 years. And it was notably known as the drink of kings. And, Italy is one of those easy places to fall in love with. And for us, what was also unique about what he wanted to do is he wanted to benchmark it right above everything else in the category, right? So he wanted to make the quintessential super premium Italian liqueur. And how we go about this is we do our research and we start to pull things and inspiration and start telling a narrative and a story, whether that's the colors and inspiration of the Amalfi Coast or iconic brands like Arco di Parma or just iconic quintessential style of Italy. We can take inspiration from, these Greco-Roman tiles as well as iconic types. Or can we take inspiration from the bergamot itself? Cut it in half is quite lovely. We love that organic shape. Now, no consumer's gonna think, oh my goodness, they put the shape of a bergamot in the bottle. That's not the point. We're trying to tell your story in moments. We're not trying to be so very direct. It's the moments that creates all that emotion. And then we took inspiration from these Greco-Roman reliefs and Venetian tile, which deep in your mind are Italian symbiotics. And this is an example of a very first pass that we did, that we presented in. You can see how the colors of the Amalfi and the textures and the Venetian tile, how it all comes together. I think this is really important because we try to do the work really, really well so that we can tell the story cohesively. And this is an example of the finished pack. So things that we had to bring forward were certain limitations in glass and, of course, sharpening that font. But the essence, the soul of the brand was already there. And if we've done our job right, how the brand will activate is going to say the same story everywhere. And it's holistic in its nature. And we're really passionate about that the finished pack, the pack that the consumer holds or sees behind bar that has to cut through the sea of glass, is telling your story. The consumer's got like less than 5 seconds to make a decision. And so we want to bake it in there. And I'll leave you with this, is that we leave nothing to chance. It's such a simple line, but something that's stranger we really believe in, and it's the stranger way. We bake the story, the strategy, and the emotion all into the pack. I mean, there might be some of you in this room willing to give away your child's college fund to fund your next dream. I literally field calls from people I think that have just had a cup of coffee and I said, I'm going to make a tequila today, and have no clue about how crazy this industry is. So for us, like, don't leave anything to chance. The glass, the label, the closure, they all need to tell your story behind bar, on shelf, and in the hands of the consumer. This world, this market does not need another good gin or the next best whiskey. Give the consumer a story that they can get wrapped up in and get lost in. Yes, you need insights, but you also need instinct and experience. So look at all the insights you want, but maybe Emma would say, like, hey, her gut led a lot of what drove what you see today as her product in the market. And then find people in this industry that you can trust. Bounce ideas off them. Use their experience. Leverage who they are. Build a brand in truth. The kind of brand that you feel it before you really understand it. That's how real brands work. No overthinking, no over-explaining. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to keep up with the latest beverage alcohol industry insights from Park Street University.